say Parliament, specifically National Assembly, has done our work. Now let's focus on the Senate and probably our courts, because I'm seeing this matter ending there. Why am I saying so? One, from where I sit, I have no business with the Kenya Kwanza, because I don't belong to them. I just see what they are doing. And to my understanding, I don't know up to this moment what is the position of the ruling party, UDA, as far as the impeachment of their second in command is concerned. I don't know the position of the KK coalition. I don't know their position as far as this issue is concerned. 2 years, and we are rushing to impeach a sitting deputy president. I have some reservations. I will tell you, one day, one time, the real issue will come up. Why Gachagua has to go. I don't think Kenyans, we are being told the real issues. What we are saying here, they are not here nor there, because none of those things at the end of the day, one can say this is exactly the crime that the personality of one Gachagua committed. That said, we saw and watched in the history of this country, and I've been in that house, I can tell you, when you see that kind of presence of members, it is more than, it is something beyond that house. That one I will tell you for free. You bring whichever issue, and I will tell you, you cannot raise even 220 members. For the period we were there, even during passage of the famous security laws, could not raise that number. But when you see almost over 300 members, you all need to know it is not the way, it's the issue at hand, but something else. But that something else will come from somewhere, one day, one time, many years from now. I'm sure because of the process, procedures, and probably the legality of that impeachment, we will hear much as we progress. I have a feeling this country has a lot of issues to focus on. Serious issues. I'm not sure the Gachagua's issue is one of them. But sometimes you draw the negative and the positive of it. We have something to learn. Soon after the election, we saw the minority coalition. Actually, let me talk of majority, because some leaders just crossed over. They're violating the 6-month rule and joined the side that was perceived to have won, for them to have a majority. Truth be said, I think we saw what the country underwent. Demonstrations, latent JNCs, the same issues, which have not been resolved. If successfully, as a country, we will dispense of Deputy President Gachagua, I hope those issues will be solved. We will see implementation of NADCO report. We will see the kind of challenges Kenyans are raising being addressed. I think we need to learn and draw lessons. Then the second and maybe my last point on this is those of us who have an opportunity to serve in an elective position from whichever level to whichever level. I think it is high time we draw lessons. We are not there to enrich ourselves. We are not there for our self-fulfillment. We are there to serve those who send us there. Yes.
Interesting. It was important to give you a minute each also to get your key highlights, because at the end of the day, that happened. But again, let me come back to you, Lucy. Now, we are here. What do you make of that process? Parliament started sitting at 9 to 9:30. That is 12 straight hours, uninterrupted. Really, what did you make of that? And even the process, the way Parliament carried itself, process by process until the last vote was taken. The tellers came at 9:17. They announced at 9:18 p.m. Moses Tangula ratified the results.
I would say, like Honorable Mangangi is saying, that one somehow, it's like abnormal.
Yes, because I've just done the math. If 281 members were said ayes and 44 of them nays, which means 44 plus 281, that is 325 members.
26, 326, and one.
And one, yes.
Yeah.
326 members.
Yes.
That's a huge number. DG said they've never, even by the time I was in Parliament, they'd never raised such numbers.
And he's saying out of experience.
Yes.
So that is abnormality. So there must have been something beyond just that. We don't know what it is, but there was. For them, the way they... And it proved that if that Parliament really wanted to solve Kenyan problems, they could. If they can agree anonymously, that number of people to do a thing like that, what was born hatujai waona tena wakifanyia wa Kenya kazi namna hiyo. So it is something which is, it looks fake somehow, not really normal. How everyone is there and the decision made and so on before that we are going to do it. Even they did it before. They were out there saying. And I think the problems that we have, how many motions, how many bills are pending, and they have been brought there and they even lack quorum.
Yes.
How come this one had?
That's a good
to
question.
me, this one seemed more personal with Gachagua. I'm not for Gachagua anyway, but it seemed more personal. Even the contributions were like more personal. Not, it was not like the office they are attacking, not the office of the deputy. It is Gachagua as a person. And like my friend here said, it's all about the attitude, the way he responds, the way he intimidates people, of which, yeah, some of them are true. Although you said we should say they are allegations because we are not sure. But most of them are true. We've heard them on a national television saying, for me personally, the question of dividing Kenyans and always talking about Murima would be an issue because he's a national deputy president. If Mugangi here started talking about a certain ward where he comes from, telling the people of Machakos, my ward, how would it look like? And the others, does it mean that the other regions or the other communities should also have their deputy? That is a no-no thing. That is not what we want in Kenya after the new constitution. Kenyans need unity. We have more issues to solve, like we are saying. Our education is at limbo as we talk.
Yeah.
Our healthcare is, we don't even see that participation. Like healthcare, a lot of people now, we are going to the hospital, we are being turned back. This is a huge issue after they changed from NHIF to SHE. It's not even clear to Kenyans what it is. But no one, why are they not taking that quick kind of, you remember it was on a Wednesday and Friday we are going to have public participation, and it happened and all MPs were in their constituencies doing that. Why don't we see them doing that? About telling people about the change, the transition between the SHE and the NHIF. That is our expectation. So it is something beyond that. It is more personal. Gachagua as a person, yes, of course, somehow he has a loose mouth. And I think even what he talked a day before the eve actually almost worked against it. Because that was the reference that everyone was like, he opened like a Pandora box. He was saying, you did this yesterday, you did this. He talked about his family. No one knew about it. So he is working even against himself. So for him to be that, because also Kenyans don't need people who are dividing people, we need unity, especially for a national leader like that. Another thing, that office of the deputy, it is not clear. Someone just picked you to be under them. even the deputy governors. I think also the law has a gap.
Yes.
It shouldn't be clarified, because if we don't even know the exact duties, you just need to be behind someone.
You don't know. He's here. You'll tell us.
Yeah, you tell us. We don't know actually. So we want to know their duties, because when we are holding them accountable, you'll be saying, the deputy governor, Gachagua, this is where you failed as a deputy governor. That's why I'm saying most things seems to be so personal things. You said this, you responded this way, but what is his duty? Why is he paid? Why do we even need one? Can we do without? We even saw Moi doing without a deputy, and he did it. So we either get the clarification what their duties is, why is he even making the noise? What is his work exactly? Is it just to drive and go to Karen and go to his office? What is that? What is our duties? Because when the president says maybe they don't communicate, you are here because of me, and I'm not communicating with you. We are not talking. Then what is your work? That means if the president decides not to give him duties, then he's there doing nothing. He's the principal assistant eating our money for nothing.
You know, one thing I've picked out of the two, Crispus, is DG saying that he hopes that now with the impeachment of the deputy president, we are going to see certain changes. He's talked about NADCO report. I don't know whether to take it to be sarcastic or something. You want to see certain bills being passed in parliament. In other words, she's also talking about the issue of health. Education is in limbo. Now that raises some serious concern that there are bigger issues that Kenyans and even parliamentarians should be dealing with in parliament. There's so many bills, there's a serious backlog in parliament that Wanjiku should be enjoying. Education should be here. I wish we had these 326 numbers educating about education. What do you talk about?
It's pretty.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we need to appreciate is that we're a very forgetful nation. This administration has struggled to deliver. Yeah. Since it was sworn in, they have lost 2 finance bills. They have struggled to convey the message of better, in terms of, for example, the Hustler Fund, the housing levy and what the housing levy is able to do, the issues of funding for education, especially higher education, the issue of JSS, transition from 844 to CBC is something that this administration is supposed to carry on. But at every point, they are able to blame someone or a group of people, either the opposition, and therefore we need to have discussions. 2022, 2023, we had the NADCO. 2023, 2024, 2024, 25, we now have the Gen Z movement, and now Gachagua seems to be the bearer of that failure, and therefore he has to go. We don't know what next year, who will carry that cross. But unfortunately, time is being lost, and the country is not moving forward. We are losing as an economy. We are supposed to be the most progressive, strongest economy in the region. But as time goes by, the region is getting discouraged by the conduct and the behavior of our politics in this country. Everybody around us is getting concerned. And we, as a country, are forgetting that we don't choose our neighbors. And we have a responsibility to carry ourselves in a manner that gives hope to those around us.
Let's take a break.
Thank you.
I want to serve you tea.
Thank you.
I want to serve you tea. Here, we don't impeach anyone. We just take tea as we have a good conversation. Stay with us. We'll break back. Welcome back. So our tea is ready. Now we are ready to roll. Now, Crispus, I want to give you 1 minute so that you finish what you're saying. Then now we dive straight into the discussion now.
As I was saying, it's important that as a country, we realize time is not on our side. So whatever we are spending or giving a lot of attention to, what value is it bringing to our society? What value will it bring to our country? And I think we have spent the last 2 years struggling to get direction as a country. And I hope if Gachagua was the reason why this country was not having any direction, I would call upon the president, now that he has the opportunity, if Senate confirms the decision of the parliament and Gachagua does not pursue the courts for the prosecution of this matter, we hope that if he is given the opportunity to have another deputy, that he will be able to take stock of the country and for the next 3 years be able to align this country to the transformation plan that the Kenya Kwanza administration have. Otherwise, we have experienced house of cards for the last 2 years, and none of that house of cards has been to the benefits of the common man. The common man is still struggling. We have been paying a lot of contribution to this economy, but very little has come to us. The housing tax has been paid now for 2 consecutive years. What value has it brought to the economy? We have now SHA. We have people who are struggling to transition from NHIF to SHA. Can we make sure that that process is as humane as possible? We have challenges with the university funding. How best can we address the issue of the education of our young children? There are many issues this country is struggling with. If Gachagua was the reason why this country was not moving forward, now that in less than probably 2 weeks, we'll have a determination on this matter. Can the country move forward so that come 2027, we will be able to have an opportunity to make a decision whether to re-elect or get somebody else to be the president or another party to administer this country. Yes.
DG, we never expected ourselves to be here 2 years after an election. The Kenya Kwanza administration came and sold a very elaborate, the bottom-up economic transformative agenda to Kenyans, and perhaps that's what Kenyans took and elected this particular government. But 2 years down the line, we are seeing this, 7th of October, and now Senate is also going to take it over. Were you shocked? Have you been shocked? What have you been learning all through in under 2 years?
It was least expected because, even in our homes, sometimes if you come visiting and maybe I was quarreling with the mother of my kids, sometimes you focus on the real issue and maybe you pick that private one later. But in Kenya today, we seem to be focusing on issues that, in my view, are least critical.
Yeah.
In state building, when trying to transform a country, 2 issues are critical, actually 3, but 2 are very critical. One is the issue of decentralization. In Kenya, we are talking about devolution. 2 is the leadership, the quality of the leadership. And then you cannot talk of transforming a country without proper quality education. Now, in all this, tell me what is happening in Kenya. We are doing the very opposite. Other than moving forward, we are moving backwards. In terms of education, everyone here, every Kenyan know what is happening. Thousands, if not millions, of students are on the verge of not even going to school, whether college, whether high school, because of the issue touching on fees. As far as I'm concerned, over 60 years after independence, this country, the basic education, and the basic I mean from the lowest level to the bachelor's level, diploma and then degree, it should be free. And we should be working towards ensuring that happens. Now, that being the case, today we are struggling to even think of how to maintain even the most unfortunate ones in school. So I think depending on what how this administration came to power, how they set their agenda, how transformative it was, and that is the reason why Kenyans voted for this administration. I expected they just come together, sit down, see who they can collaborate, who they can bring on board, and ensure they move the country forward. The issue of impeachment was highly least expected. But in politics, many things do happen. Maybe sometimes you can use certain people, and then once you are in the office, you remember the Machiavelli laws. In politics, using those laws, Machiavelli, you use people to ascend to power and dump them, get others. Yeah. Maybe we have this application today in Kenya Kwanza, but we should use them when the country is stable. What if you go against the Machiavelli's law? Sometimes you have to be careful because it depends what kind of people. It depends on what you need to be calculative. To my understanding, I think somebody sat somewhere and did very good calculation. If we bring this particular party on board, we can get this one out. If we do this, we will do this. And very soon, you will see where it is going. Why am I saying this? For the past 1 week, we have seen how members of parliament contributed in the public arena. Some of them saying, I will never vote for this. It's not a priority for Kenya. But when the D-Day came, and they were called somewhere, sat, yesterday some of them were the loudest in supporting. Yeah. You wonder what happened. And that brought me to a case in point that occurred to me as a member of parliament. I don't know whether it is the right way to put it, but we went in a committee, I wouldn't say which one. And because the person we were told to approve, to vet, so that he can be appointed. He had a case, a criminal case, a live criminal case. So we marshaled members and said, no, the law doesn't allow this. But because of the interests, let me say, of the state, we did a report and confirmed rejection of the person. But minutes to the tabling of the report, those of us who were keen to ensure that person, the law was followed, we got some calls. And I remember that afternoon so well. We went to the chamber, and ideally, chairman tables the report. Then if the vice chairman is the one to second the tabling of the report. But that was not the case that afternoon. In fact, I sat even far away. I was called to second the report. And because of the call, each one of us had received separately, we had no choice but to ensure we overturn that report and make sure that person is appointed. I think that was the case in this motion that happened. When you look at and see the happenings of the week, people who are saying this, and then you hear the party has been called to a meeting, then they come to parliament and you see everything has changed. And those who are opposed are the ones now who are the loudest. It tells you, it brings question marks. But you asked a specific question. I think in leadership there can also be diversionary tactics. Now the country is focusing on impeachment process. While there are things here, we are pushing so fast. By the time you realize we are over them. Look at what is happening within the JKIA, the issue within the health sector, SHIPSHA. People are being asked to pay for their own bills, patients that is. when you look at all these things, when you look at one Indian company that seems to be taking over almost everything, we must look a way of diverting. There's a way to secure a state, and people use a lot of methods. This could be one of them. At the end of the day, people could be celebrating Gachagua is gone, but he might be there to stay. You know, Moi came and people, I read the history, people say it was a passing cloud, a cloud that remained with us for over 24 years.
Yes.
So you never know. You can see, even the time we have spent here talking about impeachment, that is where somebody sat somewhere and crafted something so that you divert the attention of the nation while we advance on what we want to do. That could, in my own view, could be one of these things. So I think let's focus on state building. State building is ensuring we have a sound healthcare plan in place, serving Kenyans. We see ourselves as a country taking care of our patients. We have a team here which is never talked about. The elderly and even the very poor majority who are at the bottom of the pyramid. If you want to see any progressive country, we have to focus on, we have to go back to the basic, where Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and Kibaki left us. That is where we need to go back and pick our Vision 2030, redo it to fit our moment, and we move forward as a country.
Do you know who is the CEO of the Anti-Aging Society Organization in Kenya? Yours truly.
Sorry?
I'm so happy.
Oh.
You talked about the elderly. You'll be my president.
You see,
Yours truly.
you see, why am I saying this? The time has changed.
Yeah.
There are challenges in this country. Our parents back at the village, they educated us. Plus also the community that also did some marambes to see ourselves being taken to school. After that, you come to this Nairobi. You are not finding any stable job to support the community and the parents you left behind. So there are challenges.
Yes.
Those are issues we need to sit and discuss.
I'll come, let me just open the discussion a bit. So we are here now. Senate is going to take over. Of course, the Speaker of the National Assembly said that he's going to write to the Senate within, you know, actually today, it should be today for the sake of time. But then now, what do you think is going to be? Let me come back home and start with Mrima. Lucy, so basically, my colleague Regina was saying that niliguza Mrima. I just got an injury.
Ulipanda mlima ukatereza.
Nikatereza. So what do you think is now running through the blood veins of quote-unquote Mrima?
Number one, let me comment about the question of, was it a surprise?
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Before I'll go to that.
Go ahead.
To me, it wasn't a surprise. Comparing the note at which they started. The events that have taken place, it was not a surprise, and my expectation actually diminished tremendously from the onset. From the very first, from onset, Gachagua started with a very negative tone, that we had empty coffers, that the government is owned by shareholders, that is going to seal all that no one else go to the prayer. Of course, having been in the opposition, so not opposition actually, having been in Azimio, so like we were blocked until I became hopeless. I did not have any hope. I felt it is not my government. I was meant to feel that way. So from that, my expectation was not so much. They have been just, now you are told the coffers are empty. So that means don't expect much. So I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't like seeing there's anything going to happen because all the promises, nothing has worked so far. This is the second year. So, and I'm not even now expecting much, except the making of noise and eliminating Gachagua, of which is going. What's going to happen? And the Mrima. First, Mrima is very divided. It's not the Mrima we knew, not anymore. Yesterday we saw every MP from Meru County, Embu, they all voted yes. Just a few from Murima who voted no. In that case, they created that gap now within themselves. That division is there. There will be a lot of hatred also between the elected members of parliament and the communities. It will never be the same. Because most of them, they are like what Mwanga just said, let them try to come back to the people, whoever voted yes. And
Do you think that is the general feeling now?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Of course, they have a lot of problems. Maybe they are paid enough that they don't give a damn even if they lose. But that division is there. You ask, what do we think it will happen? So that division is there within Murima itself. They are so much divided. There is also the division between MPs and the community. There is a division also in parliament because there is this group on the other side, this group on the other side. There is also division in political parties.
Yeah.
He just talked about coalitions. How are they consulted? Because if it is Kwanzaa, it has coalitions. There are some groups inside there that maybe did not participate, like Mutuse comes from, which party is that?
The Chap.
The Chap
Yes.
Chap. We didn't even hear them when they were mentioned. When Gachagua was mentioning the coalition, he didn't even mention the Chap Chap party, because I think it came a little later. But now coalition, I mean, it is the one which is in front, now fronting almost everything. And they are getting even more shares. You see, they have a CS, they have all this. But what about the others? It is through Gachagua that we knew there are people with that percent, 70%. We are the Tom and Jerry's from Western. We are people from Coast who are negotiating for. It's not me saying, that's what Gachagua told us.
Yeah.
And even if the impeachment doesn't go through, things will never be the same. If you are my deputy, we are there to work with you, put things together. Do you expect Ruto to take Gachagua the same way again?
If it doesn't get impeached.
Yeah, it will never be the same. It can't be the same. Even if it's you, let's be realistic. This is someone who has been undermining, in quotes, or intimidating, in quotes. This is someone who speaks after you have spoken. This is someone who addresses the nation after you have addressed. Again, following the Machiavelli, you never outshine your boss.
Yeah.
And now he has been doing that. It can never be the same. Which executive is going to work with him?
But that's Wanjiku who is going to suffer
No,
immensely.
I'm not refusing. We are already suffering. I'm in the Wanjiku category myself because I didn't make it to parliament. So the Wanjiku will continue suffering. Again, like he's saying, the Andani issue, the NHIF, the education model, those things are just put in the shelf. And our parliament shows in numbers to discuss Gachagua. That could be the biggest scam ever done in this country, just to deviate our minds from what really issues were. We don't hear Raila talking anymore. We don't hear the president, you say you have not heard his voice. Is this just a small thing? It's not just a small thing to ignore. We should have heard him say this is true or it is not true. Even the president, even the Adan thing, he has not talked. It is involving his ministers. It's involving all this. It's about our country. These are issues that touching us. The workers from the airport, and the demonstration, they're all there. And it is not an issue to our president. There's something that is being covered. Kenyans are not stupid anymore. Kenyans, and I will keep on just congratulating the agencies. These young people know so many things now. You even saw the day of public participation. Actually, it is them who went. It's them.
Yeah.
And they were not needed there. Some were beaten up. Why would you not want them? Why? They are Kenyans. You said Kenyans come and participate, and they were coming to participate. Why are you feeling bad when they come? Why are you feeling insecure when they come? So Kenyans are alert. We will never be the same. We are divided, and we will continue being divided now.
Which is quite unfortunate.
Yes.
I hope we had that some unity.
And that is, even if he is impeached or not impeached, it's never the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
that still goes to Crispus. Either way, how is Mrima going to handle this? To be specific, because I'm asking about Mrima because it was the deputy president who said usiguze Mrima. You know, so how is Mrima going to focus on it? Because there's a lot of emotions which was pumped into the Mrima and the politics that is there. Either way, he survives or goes home. How is it going to be, politically so?
One of the issues that Gachagua was accused of violating the gross violation was the issue of national unity.
Yes.
And he was alleged to have violated because he spoke about the Mount Kenya region. And therefore the question is, should any leader, even ourselves here, are we in the right mind to discuss regions? And that includes the Mount Kenya.
Yeah.
Because the deputy president, one of the grounds that has led him to be impeached is the regional discussion.
Yeah.
So therefore the question is, will any leader have the audacity to discuss any region? And therefore, if that is the reason why the deputy president has been dismissed, we should not be concerned about regions anymore. The regions should not matter. Luya unity, Ukambani unity, Kalenjin unity should not be an issue. Because if deputy president was concerned about his region, and that is the reason he has been kicked out, then nobody should discuss. But the important issue for the Mount Kenya region is that they feel betrayed, because when the president was a deputy president, the president then was from Mount Kenya. And they disagreed for reasons we will never know, or we shall know one day. But the president then did not take the same measure. His administration then did not take the same measure of impeaching William Ruto out of office. Because if this impeachment is confirmed, Gachagua will never hold any office, public office. Meaning he has been removed from any opportunity to be a public servant in this country. William Ruto was never subject to the same kind of punishment for defying or disagreeing with the president. And Gachagua was able to demonstrate, if I was questioning public servants, even him questioned public servants. If I stood with the common man, even him stood with the common man.
And he said he learned from his boss.
Exactly. So he was able to demonstrate that whatever I did is because I learned from the first holder of this office. So if he has been punished for the same things that the first holder of that office did, to the extent he has been excommunicated from office, that he will never hold any public office. Yet the holders of that office previously, who is now the president, was not subject to the same. Yet the mountain was the president then, did not do this. It is a great deal of betrayal to any person who analyzes this issue from Mount Kenya. At the bottom of it is betrayal. Whether it was done by majority MPs from that region is not important. What is important is that we held our commitment to return a hand in terms of electing William Ruto as president. What did he do? He got one of us as deputy and impeached him.
Yeah.
So, 2027, we will be able to make a decision based on account of that. In terms of delivering for the people of Mount Kenya, every part of Kenya has not been delivered for, because the economy is struggling. So the pain the Mount Kenya may feel economically or socially is being felt across
the country.
So it's not an issue of the Mount Kenya region alone.
Okay.
But the political betrayal is the most important issue at this point. This was a political process that has led one of their own to be kicked out. Whether he did not matter to the people is not the issue, but he was one of their own.
All right. Betrayal in the City. Have you read that book?
Yes.
Betrayal in the City. Okay, let's take a break, and we come back. We're still going to continue with more. How is the president going to handle this? And I've not forgotten the question to the deputy governor. Uko na kazi? Okay. Kazi ni gani? All right, welcome back. So, I asked a question about how the Mlima is feeling, because Deputy President said that Mrema should not be touched. But let me get to hear from you, DJ. What do you think is now running through the blood veins again of the Mlima? Let me also get your point on that.
First and foremost, allow me a minute. I talk about two issues, then I come to Mlima.
Okay.
The two issues is about before the Deputy President appeared in Parliament, the previous night he had a countrywide communication to the people.
Yes.
This is a national leader. He needed to explain himself. He needed to talk to his followers and Kenyans at large. That was very important as far as I'm concerned. Whether it annoyed some people, that is their problem. To me, it was this being a political leader, it is good he explains himself to the people who put him to where he is. That was critical. That is according to me. I think also we saw the public participation, and I'm sure if this matter finds itself in court, this will be one of the contentious issues. I know it will come up, because we saw people themselves, and I'm sure as media houses you have clips of people questioning, why are we being paid to attend public participation? Why can't we be allowed to come voluntarily and air our views? So we saw a managed process of public participation, and I'm not sure that is what is anticipated in the constitution. So, and even the mover of the motion, the mover who is a member of Chap party, that was in Azimio, and soon after election they jumped, they ran away. The mover, I don't know the place where the public participation was conducted, where he represents. We saw all the media houses showed everywhere, even the CDF offices where it was supposed to take place. It was locked throughout the day. People were saying they went all the wards, there was none. Telling you something. He tried to go to Wote where the county public participation previous day was supposed to take place. He was chased. So what I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to put across is, if I'm elected today to represent three of you, it is good I get your mandate to go and present what I want to present. Let me not try to think on behalf of the people who elected me to lead and assume this is what they want. That's what I'm saying. We need to put the people first. Carry along their aspirations and wishes of these people. Now, coming to the question of Mulima, just like any other part of the country,
yes,
I think if the government delivers, but I'm sure they will be judged by what they performed. But I can tell you, there is betrayal. There's a famous case. I will never state anything without an example. There is one person who was said to have worked, and the media was all over. The one-time Ralieda member of parliament, he was called Rafael Tuju.
Yes.
I think he was even rated the best MP, who performed,
the first mobile
did
clinic,
a lot of development.
The first mobile clinic was in Rarieda.
Yes, you see, he did a lot of work as per the media reports. But because of what was perceived to be a political betrayal, he had to go. In Kenya, we had the only president as an academia, as a professional, as somebody who can analyze the development of any country. President Emilio Mwai Kibaki, late, and may his soul rest in peace, he sat back and put the Kenyan map on his desk, and he planned and executed programs that promoted development and inclusivity of this country, of almost everyone. And that is why so many programs were introduced during President Mwai Kibaki. And by that time, you remember, even the World Bank, even the United Nations were sending delegations here to come and see how is President, this third world country is implementing free primary education. How are they managing that they have a CDF that is in every constituency? They are introducing women fund, youth enterprise fund, roads money at the constituency level, electricity money at the constituency level. And all these programs were successful. But with all that, he forgot politics. And that is why he nearly lost 2007.
Yeah.
Because he was busy thinking about the country, he did not think about politics. Now, in Kenya, in the last 72 hours, we saw something like kuva dereva, kuva makanga, kuva mechanic, kuva turnable.
And now Abiria Pia is also
And
in
it
the
was
mix.
and it was very, I'm quoting it because it is all over.
Yeah.
And it's something that can be extracted. That is not very good for some of us who are elected. And we seem to be assuming our people. We need to go back to call ourselves somewhere and maybe think more of Kenyans, more of the country. Because going by the demonstrations that have been there, we know Kenyans are fully aware today of what is supposed to happen. So this issue of political betrayal, I'm sure Mulima will never, whether Gachagua survives, whether he goes, politics and governance in this country will never be the same again.
Never.
It has to change. And let me tell you, this is not...
Is it Mlima peke yake or the entire ecosystem?
Generally in the country.
Okay.
I'm foreseeing personally, and I stand to be corrected. In the next election, you will see Mbandus on one side and maybe Kushites and all Nairots on the other. Because we cannot have, you know, these positions we hold. Sometimes you might not know. I'll tell you something. I had a delegation in my office, and they were telling me loudly, you know, when we see your car going home, we are happy. Now, you just look at that kind of sentiment. From Machakos, I go towards the rural part of the county. But now, people just to see me, the deputy governor, amepita. Ni mtu yetu amepita. It is like people seem to be just satisfied. Tumemwona ni mtu yetu. The same applies in Mulima. These are people, I will tell you, they have produced 3 different presidents. When civilization and modernization started in this country, started in this particular part of the world, they know the importance of leadership. They are people, and you can ask data from IEBC. That is the single most region that comes out in large numbers to 40 because they understand. They have had enough civic engagement that they understand the importance of voting. And in politics, you have 3 key factors. One of them is numbers. 2 is money. 3 is strategy and execution of that strategy. Now tell me, in all these 3 they have, tell me what happens. They must call themselves and sit to discuss. This is what has happened to us. And make no mistake, it doesn't matter we dispense of Gachagua and we pick somebody else from there. It will not matter.
Okay.
That betrayal, that political betrayal will still remain there. The only cure is one. And I stand, anybody has to challenge me on this one. If today the president and the deputy president sat, agree to work for this country today, and they are seen to work without any entrance between them, it might heal and unite the country. As it is, it might not matter who has. That betrayal, you will go, and because some of us leaders, we forget, you might tend to think people love you. But they come because of the position you are holding.
Okay.
Wait the day they will be told to vote. A campaign starts, you will know whether you did or you did not perform.
We've been quiet for quite some time just to let you talk because he's speaking from the political level. And you're giving us the bone marrow of how politics is being played, the real meaning of betrayal, and what is in the blood vein of Mrima. But then now, what do you think is going to be the political change in the entire ecosystem, Lucy, moving forward? Because now, politicians are here, judiciary is here, Wanjiku is here. These three people. What do you think is going to be happening katikati yao? Because now he's talked about, you know, kufa Dere, kufa Makanga, and now 55 abiria pia kwa hii gari. So what's going to happen?
I think like 2027,
yes,
it will be a total change in wave. And I can tell you for free, Wanjiku this time is not the same Wanjiku. I have seen the young people, the Gen Z swearing. Even their parents, they will pay for their holidays. They don't want them even on the scene to make any mistake because they are not ready for any mistakes. You will see leaders that you never expected. People will be elected not because of money, not because of any influence. And because of that betrayal, somehow the Mrima might be united than ever before, whichever direction they will take. It doesn't, I'm not saying Mrima like Gachagua, all of them, but the betrayal actually left them thinking like, these mistakes, we need to think twice. They might not be for Gachagua, but whoever they will say, even if it's not from Mrima, whoever they will run behind, they will do it together. From the talk, from what is going on. Mrima will never be the same, and they might be more than ever united. Whoever they will unite behind will be the main thing. Like you're saying, those are people, actually they are politically, they are very elite.
Yeah.
And also they have money, they have the financial muscle. And also they are educated. I think they feel like they were really tricked. I was talking to someone yesterday and then he kept on saying, but you know, Uhuru never gave us direction. I say, now you've gotten the direction. This is the time now you have direction. When does Uhuru come in? Actually, you insulted. I'm so proud of Uhuru that he never even talked and he has never said anything. You know, even keeping quiet in our culture, it talks a lot volumes.
Yeah.
When someone is quiet, just be afraid. You don't know what.
And
Uhuru
you know
has said, and I'm even sure Uhuru has not met Gachagua.
That statement is heavily loaded. It's not just a statement of Uhuru never gave us direction.
That's what they are saying.
Yeah.
So they feel that they made a mistake, but it's because they were never given direction by Uhuru. But Uhuru told them. Uhuru told them to vote for Baba, but they did not. He said no. He kept on saying that don't vote, this person is a bad person, but he never elaborated what was bad in the person that he told them they are going to regret. So that's the saying. They have realized that their own mistake when it is too late. But I'm telling you, Mrima is working around the clock. They may seem divided now on Gachagua because of his mouth. Actually, Gachagua, it's the individual, not because he's Mrima. It's in those are individual differences. Even the MPs who are voting against him, those are individual differences.
Yeah.
I went to him seeking for this, he talked to this, insulted women, all these generalized things. That's why I think about him is just like so personal things, but it's not Mrima.
Okay.
Mrima is now united more than ever before. And whatever action they will take, you'll be surprised. You will come here on your list as well.
This is a question I'm going to ask all of you. The precedent has been set, whether it goes through and gets impeached or not. There's a precedent that has been set in as far as articulating the Constitution is concerned. The impeachment of elected leaders. We've seen impeachment of governors. Wambora survived. We've seen Kawira Mwangaza going through the process. We've seen it's out there. Now Mutai of Kerichi is also facing the Senate next week. Impeachments are across. DG, we hope you don't get to that point. You serve your full term very well. We hope so. People of Machakos, tafadhali. The Kingings, what do you think is the precedence being set here to take that copy of the Constitution and put it on the table and say, you know what, your leaders, this is it. You follow the rules, you are safe. If you don't follow it, here is the repercussion. In terms of constitutionality and just making that constitution work for the elected leaders and to protect Wanjiko. Article 1, power belongs to the people. There's a precedent being set here. Even for the, if he goes home, there's a new one coming in. So, pia akicheza kwa kazi, the same thing might happen to him. Crispus.
Well, you know, when you say power belongs to the people, in these matters of impeachment, what hand of the people plays into the impeachment of leaders?
When is Thursday? When is Friday? Public participation?
So public participation will probably be tested in terms of the quality of public participation that went through on Friday and Saturday, probably at the judiciary, at the courts.
Because
to determine,
courts will look at the process.
Yes, to determine whether it was the quality, there was quantity, or the process was followed in terms of realizing the public participation. Because that's the only way the mwananchi can participate in terms of exercising the power that the Constitution provides them. So, in terms of the members of parliament who are supposed to be representatives of the people, there is a disconnect to what extent whatever decision they took, if it's a representation of what the people want. Whether it's at the county assemblies in the Kericho or in Meru, it was that the will of the people, or it was a desire of the political class to remove one of their own who was an inconvenient to them in terms of achieving certain goals. So the whole constitution that we came up with was supposed to put the Kenyan person at the center of governance. But to what extent has that place of the Kenyan voter been secure in terms of determining good governance? That is the question. And I think the Constitution has gone through a process of being tested in terms of seeing whether it is being utilized effectively in achieving the good governance that we so desire. To some extent, we have seen people who are being impeached who are not very good leaders. But we have also seen, like the Embu governor, who survived 9 impeachments, and he was never removed from office. And he was able to remain in office and serve 2 terms. So to what extent this constitution is serving the expectation that we so desired when we amalgamated this constitution is a question we need to ask ourselves. But also, it's important to realize that the whole democratic process that we are exercising has brought a lot of awakening to Kenyans. And therefore, we are able to exercise the political rights that we have in the constitution, and therefore realize the importance, as Mheshimiwa said, of civic engagement. Because what is important right now is that we are continuing to learn the importance of engaging in civic matters. And as we continue doing so, we will continue becoming better and better. We are not yet there. But at some point, we will realize even the leaders, the quality of leaders we elect, will be leaders that are out of the quality of civic engagement. Right now, I cannot say we have the best of MPs, or the best of MCAs. But as we continue, we will be able to filter and get the best, so that when we go to parliament, when we go to Senate, when we go to county assemblies, the kind of deliberations that go there will be quality. And we need to look at it. There are so many bills being challenged in court because the quality of legislation that is happening is also very poor. Okay? Because the leaders we put there are also not the best that we have in the society. So Kenyans need to ask ourselves, how can then we improve the quality of legislation, representation? By putting the right leaders. How do we get the right leaders? By following the constitution, integrity requirements, the leadership requirements. How do we achieve that? By understanding who is a good leader and who is a bad leader.
DG, I ask a question. So, you know, under Section 180 of the Constitution, the governor must have a deputy. And, you know, again, 179(3)(4), you must deputize the governor in the executive part of the county, and you must also have your roles. But is this position of deputies a poisoned chalice? Because it's not new that even from the inception of our independence, we've had different deputy presidents also facing the same problem that we are facing. But now this was the first of a kind, that Gachagua has been impeached. So what is what is this thing about the seat of the deputies? I mean, could it be because it started in heaven when the gentleman tried to argue with God and God said, you know what, you're not going to disturb me in my kingdom. Get out. Tell us. We just want to hear.
Let me say this. The same constitution that protected the then deputy president, Uhuru's deputy president in their second term, the current president of the Republic of Kenya, I hope it is the same constitution in place. It has not been changed. And I hope God will see it apply to even the current deputy president. But I'm also sure he has also learned a lesson on how to deal with leaders. Now, to your question of deputies, I personally did not understand the magnitude of the problem between governors and the deputies until as one of the executives to lead the Deputy Governors Forum. I will tell you, I will sit here and tell you, over 95% of the deputy governors across the Republic of Kenya have an issue with the governor, or governors an issue with the deputy.
95%?
Over 95%. It is something I have on my desk from where I sit as the National Organizing Secretary of the Deputy Governors Forum. It is a threat to devolution. And why is this happening? And I want also to touch on the deputy presidents or vice presidents. At least for the period Kalonzo was there with the Kibaki, there were no issues. For the 5-year period, they sat and worked. We did not hear, if there was anything, nobody got to know in the country, or even those who are working with them, because some are our friends and we did not hear anything. But we have seen, like Josephat Karanja, we saw what happened between Kenyatta and we read. We did not see. We read what happened between the founding father of this country and Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. So I think, let me talk of interest. It is just a question of interest. And somehow misplaced priorities. And the third one, which is the most important, you must understand in a leadership, particularly political leadership, it matters, the issue of power matters a lot. So if you are the governor, and we know you are the ultimate authority, there will be so many players around you. If you are not keen, you can be owned by a cartel. And that is where now many deputy governors get lost. Because when you are campaigning, those bodies, those interested parties are quiet and far away. Immediately you get elected, some coalesce around deputy governors, others around the governors because of the resources. If I'm close to the governor, I will be, my child or my friend or somebody will be appointed somewhere. If I'm close to the governor, I'm able to do some tenders and get paid very fast. If I'm close to the governor, I'm close to any department within the county. So those, if I'm close to the governor, I'm able to call shots. So almost 100% of the problems that we have, you will find these people, they campaigned so well. They were either brothers, they were even sisters, they were even a brother and sister. And, but once they get to the office, these interested cartels, they get hold of one of them. Another challenge, and this is also a threat to devolution in this country, is the issue touching on on wanting to succeed your boss when he or she is in the office.
I see. I was waiting for that.
The governor is in the office and is hearing his or her deputy somewhere promising things, what to do, what to be done, giving orders. You know, now you don't understand your place. Another problem is promises you agreed before you are picked. When you talk to many of these deputy governors, or sometimes many of the current governors, we were together in Mbunge, we are personal friends, leave alone the positions we hold, or we are business partners. When you sit, you also hear the issue of Governor came in. We had agreed this, but there is a betrayal. Instead, if you were to be appointed to a certain department or ministry, you are not given that ministry. And instead, you start getting frustrated on orders of that particular governor. Because in any leadership structure, let me tell you, if I'm the governor and you are my deputy, and you are seeing people around me trying to disrespect you, those orders, they are getting it from me. Or they are hearing my utterances towards you.
Yeah.
If I'm strict and I don't want to see anybody belittle my deputy, you will not see that nonsense. When you see some things happening somewhere, or you agree, let's do this, and when you try to follow, somebody's trying to block. That is the leader at the top who is trying to undermine you indirectly. So, going forward, it's a challenge. And the time has come, either for the country to make a decision. We do away with the deputy president position. We do away with the deputy governor's position. And instead, change the constitution, just in case of the removal of the governor or the president. Maybe the speaker of the National Assembly can act for a certain time before the country holds an election, as opposed to where it is now.
Okay.
Because currently, if the current president of Kenya, he or she resigns, or for one reason or the other is not the president, the deputies takes over, which also brings another issue, another security issue. If you have a deputy governor who is so powerful,
yes,
he or she might even start working on the downfall of the governor, so that you take over.
You know, DG, you raised some pertinent issues here, and if you've noticed again, all of us were pensively quiet listening to you, because what the deputies are facing across the country, you said over 95% of the deputy governors are facing a problem.
Yes.
And you're privileged enough to be in that position, and you're privileged enough to gain to be the organizing secretary of the Deputy Governors Forum. This also translates even to what happens to the deputy president. I may not be so sure about this, but Lucy, do you think there should be some form of fixing the constitution so that the deputy governors have a clear-cut job description, leave alone whatever is being given by the president? In the past, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable, was Minister for Home Affairs. So he had a portfolio way back then. This time around, the Constitution does not envisage such kind. Do you think there's a lacuna somewhere in the Constitution so that it can encapsulate the office holders, not the office, actually the office and the office holders?
I've always been for that.
Yes.
Change of constitution on that, because the biggest barrier on this is corruption in our country. These deputies, both DGs and deputy president, the manner in which they are elected, they are appointed, actually they are selected by whoever they are working with.
And there is a lot of negotiations
yes,
in between
it's
there.
not done.
Yeah.
It's not done the right way. One could have come with a lot of money, so you are picking somebody, not because even he has leadership qualities, because he has the money that will enable you to campaign.
Yeah.
Others come as a result, kama huko kwetu, arrangements of clans, my clan, your clan to take this. So kwetu ni Isiolo.
I wanted to get it right.
Yeah,
yes.
kwetu ni Isiolo. And not only there, those arrangements it could be because your clan takes this, your clan takes this, gender takes this, all those kind of arrangements. That means you are not a leader. You are just being picked to fill a gap. So that is also a problem because if you are coming in as a leader, that's where I'm saying corruption. Corruption, it's not the people who elected you. Like in the political party arenas, you have we're having elections. We have the chairman campaigning as a chairman. Then we have the vice chairman campaigning. It's competitive. We have several vice party leaders coming to compete. That is the way I would want the position of deputies to be done.
Yes.
Let them be competitive. Let them also sell their agendas. Let all the vice, let them even have no relationship with the governor. Yes, you come as the deputy of the people, and then we have clear roles of our deputies.
You're also proposing that deputy president should also campaign separately.
Yes,
okay. Because
that is how we will get a leader.
Yeah.
That's why we understand. Because most of them you hear, I've also heard them talk. I almost became one. And what are you bringing on board? That is the question number one. So maybe my clan is saying maybe she should because of this and this and that. But people have not listened to you. They don't even know what you're going to do there. They just want you to go there so you can be driving home and say, we are happy to see that our deputy ni yetu anaenda nyumbani hivi. Then you find within a very short time the governor says, even compatibility has to be there.
Yeah.
So you are on this end, you are going this direction, I'm on this direction.
There's something he talked about, most deputy governors and deputy presidents.
Exactly.
It's about power.
Yes, it's about power.
Yeah.
And actually it's about power, and actually politics is about the division of resources. The others who come with these arrangements that tukiingia pale, mimi nimetoa hii pesa, then these positions are mine, these biasharas ni zangu. So when they go there and it doesn't work that way, they will start
okay.
So the expectations are not met. So, and other times, and most of the times, again, why I said it's corruption, the DGs, the DPs, they are seen, you see them as a threat. This person is becoming, maybe they are more leader than you. So they become and then get more, the people like them even more. So you see them out there because their personality is there and people feel, God, this one can make a good governor.
Yeah.
So they become threatened. So through that threat, that's why all this instability here will take another one. Again, I said corruption. The MCAs want money. Maybe the governor, like Kawera, she doesn't want. Let's do the right thing. They want to be. People are used to stealing. If this stealing, corruption is made as the thing in the country, these positions will not even be lucrative anymore. Let me finish. Will not be lucrative anymore. If the CDF money, the Governance Education Fund, all these monies are put together as a country, of which we are talking about the education model, our students out there. We put all this money together. We have a free education like during Kibaki. Why do we need to give individuals money to go and distribute?
Okay.
Why can they be distributed? Corruption.
We are out of time. Thank you.
Yes.
Crispus, tumalize hii debate because now it seems that the die is cast. Senate is going to have it, and we don't know what's going to happen next. Sometimes next week. So what should we expect? More of, Mr. Speaker, this and that. But then now it's also important to note that Parliament voted for that proposal as a block. It's only the Senate which is going to vote clause by clause, charge by charge. So it's going to be different. What should you expect?
I think we need to look forward to the 11 grounds being interrogated individually, and the Deputy President and Parliament will have an opportunity to expound on what they felt is right or wrong with those grounds. And the Senate and the country will have an opportunity to really appreciate that whether Gachagua was right or wrong, or Parliament just alleged and was not able to prove. And we trust that Senate will probably make a decision that is more Solomonic, that will be able to heal some of the pains that this country has gone through over the last 72 hours, and maybe be able to understand what we are going through. But over and over is that the country will never be the same after this experience. I am just looking forward to Mashujaa Day, 20th of October. If we'll see Gachagua inviting the president to speak, or the president will just be there alone, would be a very sad set for our country.
Thank you so much, Deputy Governor, Machakos County, Francis Mwangangi. Asante sana.
Datika Maja, can I say something? It's 2 or 3 seconds.
Okay, Director, 3 seconds, starting now.
I think to our MPs, members of parliament, that is the National Assembly, in case CDF goes, let them look a way of getting another alternative to get monies from the center to the grassroots. That is the only way to transform this country. Let them not allow these NGCDF
go back before 2010 Constitution. Thank you so much.
My final word.
Yes.
I didn't give mine is.
My director is on my neck.
My expectation is the Senate is going to vote the same way.
Thank you so
the
much.
Gachagua is going to end up in court and they must.
Thank you so much. Christopher Timba, asante sana.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Thank you for watching. I'm Victor Lo. Good morning. Bye-bye.